Whenever I go to an exhibition, I don't simply look at a painting individually, but I look at it in relation to its neighbours, paintings on either side of it. I never think a painting exists in isolation, but there's always a dialogue set up between paintings, and this is something that I wish to explore in this video because I have two paintings, one here and one in the neighbouring room, and they have a kind of dialogue going on between them. Thematically they're quite the same, but these two artists are completely different generation, painting in different countries in a completely different medium, and yet there is a dialogue going on between them. Sometimes there is a relationship between paintings that only once the connection is made does the relationship between two paintings seem manifestly obvious. I have in my modest collection two paintings in two different rooms. The first one was inherited from my grandfather quite a number of years ago. I recognized that it was a painting of quality. The muted tones gave the simple work a demanding presence. And one can see pairs of puncture marks in each corner, which tells me that much of the painting was executed outdoors. These punctures show that the wet canvas was carried around in a frame of sorts to protect the freshly painted surface. It does have a signature, but it was one that I could not quite read. So on a recent visit to London, I rather cheekily visited the Philip Mould Gallery and asked if anyone could identify their handwriting. Immediately the answer came back. It was Edmund Blampied. The D was hardly visible, but to a well-trained eye, deciphering the scrawl was no obstacle. He was a well-known artist who died in 1966, aged 80, and he mostly lived on the island of Jersey, hence the beach scene. I had previously thought that it might have been a location in Norfolk, as my grandfather spent his last golden years there. I'd guessed that the occupation that the two gentlemen were engaged in was to collect seaweed for fertilizer. The pitchfork in the wagon seemed an obvious clue. According to the Wikipedia article on Blampied, it is written, his scenes of collecting seaweed, called rack, from the beaches of the island using a horse and cart were, he said, his signature tune. As I began further investigating this artist, my mind kept being drawn back to another painting I have hanging in a different room, a work by the naive Croatian artist called Franjo Mraz, who died in 1981, aged 71. There are shared characteristics. Both have two horses pulling wagons. The wheels of each have 9 spokes, and each fits comfortably into their respective surroundings. The Blampied scene perhaps shows the collecting of seaweed as a commercial enterprise, while the figures in the Mraz painting work their own piece of land. In the Jersey beach scene, the focus of attention is very much on the horse and cart, while in the Mraz painting the eye is led on a zigzag journey through the landscape to the different houses and back again. Along the way we encounter a second figure, attending to some necessary duty. A stack of tree trunks lie waiting to be sawn up in anticipation of the coming winter. The horses all face the same direction, either standing or, as in the case of the Blampied work, about to walk out of the frame. Traditionally, movement in this direction suggests walking back in time, to the past. The sky in the Blampied work occupies some 2/3 of the canvas, giving the scene a sense of space. It belongs to everyone. Compare this to the Mraz, where the land here takes precedence. The proximity of the neighbour's house suggests community. This is where they live and where they work to sustain life. I did think about rehanging these two works so that they appear next to each other, but then I thought that this would detract from their individual qualities, because there's an obvious connection once you are aware of it between the two works. Besides, I like to walk between the two rooms and imagine that they're having some kind of special dialogue between themselves through the wall.